Today, we're diving into a story that might just surprise you. A story of snap judgments, assumptions, and a lesson in humility. Picture this. A man walks into a company, dressed in worn clothes, looking like someone you'd pass by on the street without a second thought. The staff glances at him, then looks away. But little do they know, he's the founder, the very heart of the company they're working for. This isn't just a story about one man's experience, it's a story that touches on something bigger, something that affects us all, how we treat others, especially when we think no one important is watching. So, let's get into it. It's easy to think we know someone just by looking at them, but appearances can be deceiving. Our main character in today's story, the founder of a successful company, doesn't fit the mold of what people expect. He's not wearing a sharp suit. He doesn't walk with an air of self-importance. Instead, he chooses simplicity, reflecting his personal values and humble beginnings. Imagine this founder, a man who started with nothing, perhaps even worked odd jobs just to make ends meet, dreaming of something better and building his vision from the ground up. Over the years, he's learned the true value of hard work, and he's kept that lesson close to his heart. He's become successful, yes, but he's never lost sight of what truly matters to him. So, on this particular day, he decided to walk into his own company, a place he knows inside and out, a place he helped create, dressed in old, worn clothes. Not because he couldn't afford something more luxurious, but because he's not one to flaunt his wealth. To him, success isn't about how he looks, but about the impact he's made. And today, he's there to observe, to see how things run when no one knows he's watching. What happens next is a testament to how often people rely on first impressions. He walks through the lobby, and the receptionist barely glances up. The security guard eyes him suspiciously. People passing by either ignore him or look away, as if he's out of place. It's a feeling many people know all too well, the feeling of being judged by the way they look, without anyone bothering to learn who they really are. This founder's choice to come in like this isn't just about comfort, it's almost a test. A test of the culture he's created, a test of the people he's hired. He's there to see if respect flows freely within his company, or if it's something reserved only for those who look the part. As he continues, the staff's reactions vary. Some outright ignore him, while others give him a dismissive glance. But the founder doesn't react. He takes it all in silently, observing everything with the kind of quiet patience that can only come from years of experience. He knows that actions speak louder than words. And today, he's letting their actions reveal the truth of the culture that's grown within his own walls. It's a rare moment when someone like him gets to see his company from the eyes of an outsider. And it's a moment that speaks volumes about the subtle but powerful ways in which we judge each other based on appearances. He keeps moving through the building, witnessing firsthand how each person makes an instant decision about his worth, all based on his outward appearance. Little do they know that the man they're looking down on is the very person who gave them their jobs. He's the reason the company exists, the one who created the opportunity they now have. In this moment, he's not the founder. He's just another person, overlooked and underestimated. And as he walks, the truth of the company's culture is revealed to him more clearly than ever before. The world moves fast, and so do our judgments. Within seconds, people often make snap decisions about others based solely on appearance. It's part of human nature. We judge by what we see before we even begin to understand. In the case of our story, the staff at this company were no exception. Here was a man who walked in, looking ordinary, even shabby by their standards. And for them, that was enough to dismiss him without a second thought. As the founder continues through his own company, he notices the subtle but undeniable shift in attitude from each staff member he encounters. The receptionist glances at him briefly, then quickly looks away, choosing to ignore him entirely. To her, he's just another person, someone not worthy of her time. The security guard stands nearby, watching him with an expression of mild suspicion, as if wondering why someone dressed so plainly would have business in such an upscale building. And then there's the passing staff. Each individual he encounters sees him but doesn't truly see him. They take one look and decide he's not someone important. Some even move a little faster, as if to avoid any interaction. It's the small, almost invisible gestures that speak the loudest. It's not outright rudeness, but there's a lack of acknowledgement that's hard to miss. What's striking here is the ease with which people fall into these patterns. To them, he doesn't look like a founder, so they assume he's not worth their attention. In their minds, success has a certain look. It's polished, it's sharp, it's dressed to impress. They can't imagine that someone who appears so plain could possibly hold any authority or importance within their company. But what they don't realize is that the founder is watching, not just observing the culture, but also taking note of each individual's reaction. He sees how quick they are to make assumptions, how ready they are to categorize him based on a mere glance. And this moment, as subtle as it may seem, carries a powerful message. In their minds, they're simply responding to a stranger. But in reality, they're revealing their values, their prejudices, and their lack of respect for someone they see as lesser. And as he continues to move through the building, it becomes painfully clear to him that the company he worked so hard to build may have a culture problem. A problem that stems from valuing appearances over substance, position over character. It's a difficult truth to confront, but one that he knows he needs to face. He has spent years building this company, and he wants it to stand for something real, not just financial success, but human integrity. And yet, here he is, a silent witness to a culture that's fallen short of those values. As he experiences these dismissive gestures one after another, it's not anger he feels, but disappointment. Disappointment that his vision, his hard work, and his commitment to a respectful workplace could be so easily overlooked. The founder isn't expecting special treatment, but he had hoped for a basic level of human decency, a sense that people would be valued for more than just how they look or what they wear. And so, as he walks on, the weight of each small gesture builds, creating a growing awareness of the challenge he faces. His company may be thriving financially, but if respect isn't at its core, what has it really achieved? This thought lingers, pushing him to confront the uncomfortable reality that's unfolding before him. Little do the staff know that their assumptions are about to be shattered in the most unexpected way. As the founder continues to make his way through the company, the quiet dismissal he's been met with becomes more blatant. He approaches the reception desk, hoping to ask for assistance. He pauses for a moment, thinking the receptionist will eventually look up and acknowledge him. But she doesn't. She's busy, answering calls and typing away, glancing occasionally at him without making eye contact. She's clearly decided he's not worth her time. When he finally manages to get her attention, she barely lifts her eyes. Her tone is curt, as if he's interrupting her. "Can I help you?" she asks in a way that implies she'd rather not be bothered. He explains that he's there to see the office, keeping his explanation vague. She frowns, looking him up and down, and he can almost see her calculating whether he's worth her effort. She responds with a quick, "I'll have to check," and turns away, clearly dismissing him as someone insignificant. The founder feels the sting of her reaction, not because he expects special treatment, but because he knows this shouldn't be how anyone is treated. He moves on, wondering if perhaps this is just one person's attitude, but the trend continues. As he walks through the halls, he notices more and more subtle dismissals. A group of employees passes by, laughing and chatting. One of them notices him standing nearby and raises an eyebrow, a slight sneer on his face. Another person mutters something under her breath, and they all laugh a little louder, clearly at his expense. It's not overt, but he can feel the underlying mockery. They're assuming he doesn't belong, that he's somehow lesser because of his appearance. He tries to brush it off, but each small moment builds upon the last. It's as though the company has created an invisible hierarchy, one where people are judged by what they wear, how they look, and how important they seem. And in this hierarchy, he's placed at the very bottom, treated as if he's not even worth acknowledging. Then, as he's waiting in the hallway, he overhears two employees chatting. One glances at him and scoffs, saying, "I don't know why they let just anyone walk in here. Doesn't he know he's in the wrong place?" The other laughs, nodding in agreement, not realizing that the man they're talking about is the founder of the very company they work for. It's these small but pointed comments that reveal just how deep this issue runs. There's no sense of respect, no basic courtesy. Instead, there's a quiet but pervasive culture of judgment and exclusion, a culture that seems to value image over substance. And as the founder listens, he feels a growing sense of disappointment. He recalls the countless hours he spent building this company, pouring his heart and soul into its success. He remembers the values he wanted it to represent: inclusivity, respect, and integrity. Yet here he is, witnessing behavior that goes against everything he stands for. It's not just about how they're treating him, it's about how they're treating anyone who doesn't fit their preconceived notions of success. The realization is painful. He's built a company that outwardly thrives, but inwardly struggles with an insidious culture of judgment and superficiality. Each dismissive glance, each disrespectful comment feels like a betrayal of his vision. A vision that was supposed to value people for who they are, not for how they look. As he stands there, he makes a decision. This behavior cannot go unaddressed. His employees need to understand that success isn't about appearance or status. It's about character, kindness, and respect. And soon, they're going to learn exactly who he is and what he truly values. As the founder moves through his company, he's not just witnessing moments of disrespect. He's observing a pattern, a culture that has taken root within the walls he helped build. Each interaction he experiences is a small piece of a larger picture, and with each passing moment, the image becomes clearer. He realizes this day is not just about being treated differently. It's a rare opportunity to see the true culture his company has developed when no one knows he's watching. He walks slowly, taking everything in: the rushed glances, the dismissive expressions, the judgmental whispers. There's a difference between seeing something and truly observing it, and the founder knows this. Today, he's not just looking at his company's outer success, he's observing its core, its very essence, and what he sees concerns him deeply. In the break room, he notices employees chatting with each other, laughing and discussing projects. But when he steps into the space, the room goes quiet. Eyes drift toward him, some filled with curiosity, others with clear annoyance. They see him as an outsider, someone who doesn't belong. It's clear they don't think he's one of them, not a person they want to engage with or even acknowledge. This reaction isn't just about clothes or appearance. It's a deeper reflection of how people in his company perceive each other and, more importantly, how they perceive those who they deem as different. This realization is profound. It's not just that he's dressed simply, it's that they've allowed their assumptions to dictate their behavior. He wonders if this would happen to others. If a customer dressed in simple clothes or a potential partner visiting for the first time would face the same lack of respect. The founder makes his way toward the elevator, and as he waits, he watches people around him. He notices who acknowledges him, who ignores him, and who looks at him with a slight sneer or judgmental glance. This isn't the kind of environment he ever wanted to foster. He didn't build this company to be an exclusive club where people are judged based on appearances or presumed status. And yet, here it is, a culture that seems to value hierarchy over humanity. As the elevator doors open, he steps inside, joining a group of employees who hardly glance his way. They talk amongst themselves, ignoring him completely. One of them even gives him a slight push as he moves to stand in the corner, as though he's an inconvenience, a barrier in their path. He takes note of this, not with anger, but with a heavy sense of disappointment. This journey through his own company is an eye-opening experience, one that's painful but necessary. He realizes that he's witnessing something he wouldn't have believed if someone had simply told him about it. It's only by being here, by feeling the disregard and indifference firsthand, that he truly understands the depth of the issue. The founder remembers his initial vision for this company. He wanted to create a place where people felt valued for their contributions, where respect was given freely to everyone, regardless of their position or appearance. But what he's seeing now is far from that ideal. Instead, he's observing a culture that's grown toxic, a culture that seems to prioritize outward appearances and superficial judgments over genuine respect and inclusivity. This experience, though disheartening, is also clarifying. It's shown him that success isn't just about profits and growth. It's about the people, the values, and the environment that make up a company. And today, he's seeing that somewhere along the way, those values have been lost. As the founder steps off the elevator, he knows that things need to change. This culture, this tendency to judge and dismiss, can't continue. It's time for his employees to learn a lesson to see that respect and kindness should be at the heart of everything they do. And soon, they'll understand that the man they dismiss so easily is the very one who holds their future in his hands. The turning point arrives in a way no one expected. The founder, having seen enough, decides it's time to reveal his identity. He stands in the main office area, looking around at the employees who have treated him as though he were invisible, a nobody. He clears his throat, trying to catch their attention, but at first, they ignore him. They've grown so accustomed to disregarding him that even now, they barely look his way. Then, a senior manager passes by. Unlike the other employees, this manager recognizes him immediately, his eyes widening in shock. For a moment, he looks confused, as if trying to reconcile the image of the founder he knows with the man standing before him in humble, worn clothes. The manager quickly recovers, approaching the founder with a nervous smile, clearly unsure of how to react. "Sir, I didn't realize," he stammers, his voice faltering as he glances around, noticing the curious, surprised looks from other employees who are now beginning to pay attention. The realization spreads like wildfire. Whispers ripple through the office as people exchange stunned glances, and one by one, they start to understand that the man they dismiss so casually is, in fact, the very founder of the company. It's a moment of pure revelation, a shock that leaves the staff speechless. They're all seeing him through new eyes, grappling with the uncomfortable truth that their initial judgments were deeply flawed. The founder stands there, watching their reactions, and in that moment, he doesn't need to say a word. The look of embarrassment on their faces, the sudden shift in their behavior, says it all. Some employees, visibly flustered, try to make excuses, mumbling apologies or attempting to explain their earlier behavior. A few even try to approach him, hoping to make amends. But the founder remains calm, observing how they've all transformed now that they know who he truly is. The same people who wouldn't spare him a second glance just minutes ago are now desperate to earn his favor, to undo the damage of their actions. The silence grows heavy, filled with a mixture of shame and regret. The employees who had laughed at him, sneered, or outright ignored him are now fidgeting uncomfortably, their heads lowered. They realize, perhaps for the first time, the impact of their actions. They understand that they've not only disrespected a stranger, they've disrespected the very person who made their careers possible. In this unexpected moment, the founder chooses not to respond with anger. Instead, he looks around, letting the weight of the silence convey his disappointment. It's a silence that speaks volumes, a silence that forces each person in the room to confront their own behavior and assumptions. This quiet reaction leaves a deeper impact than any scolding ever could, as they realize that they've not only let him down, but have also failed to live up to the values they claim to uphold. As he stands there, the founder finally speaks, his voice steady yet filled with purpose. He doesn't berate them, doesn't raise his voice, he simply speaks from the heart, sharing his own journey, his humble beginnings, and his desire to build a company that values respect, integrity, and kindness. He reminds them that this company was meant to be a place where everyone, from the receptionist to the senior executive, is treated with dignity, regardless of their position or appearance. The employees listen in silence, each word sinking in deeper than the last. They realize that this isn't just a lesson in respect. It's a chance for them to truly reflect on who they are and what kind of culture they want to contribute to. The founder's words resonate, leaving them with a powerful reminder of the values that should guide their actions, not just within the company, but in their lives as a whole. By the time he finishes speaking, the atmosphere has shifted. The employees stand there, a little humbled, a little wiser, knowing that today's lesson is one they won't soon forget. As the founder's words settle into the silence, the staff begins to react. Each person stands there, processing the weight of what has just unfolded. It's a rare moment of self-reflection, a moment where they are forced to confront their own biases and the impact of their actions. They had dismissed this man, ignored him, judged him solely based on his appearance, and now, knowing who he is, they feel a deep sense of regret. One by one, the employees glance at each other, expressions shifting from shock to shame. They realize that their behavior didn't just reflect poorly on them as individuals, it represented a larger issue within the company's culture. The founder's quiet disappointment speaks louder than any reprimand ever could. It's as if he's held up a mirror, showing them the kind of people they have become, and for many, it's not a flattering reflection. A few brave individuals step forward, apologizing directly to the founder, their voices filled with genuine remorse. "I'm so sorry," one of them murmurs, eyes downcast. "I didn't realize." But the founder only nods, acknowledging their apologies without offering immediate forgiveness. He knows that change doesn't come from words alone. It must be shown through actions, through a genuine commitment to growth and respect. In the days following this incident, the atmosphere within the company begins to shift. The employees, now acutely aware of their own judgments, start to make an effort to see each other beyond appearances and job titles. Small but significant changes take place. The receptionist who had initially ignored the founder now greets everyone with a warm smile, no matter how they're dressed or what their role might be. She understands now that respect isn't reserved for those who look important. It's a basic human courtesy that everyone deserves. The security guard who had eyed the founder with suspicion also adjusts his behavior. He begins treating everyone who enters the building with a new level of respect, offering assistance without judgment. He realizes that his job is not just about enforcing rules, but about creating a welcoming environment for everyone who steps through the doors. These changes extend beyond individual actions. The company's managers, inspired by the founder's message, initiate open discussions about respect, kindness, and integrity. They organize workshops, inviting employees to share their thoughts and experiences, to confront any biases they might hold. The goal is not just to prevent another incident like this, but to foster a culture of inclusivity, where everyone feels valued, regardless of their appearance or perceived status. Over time, the staff comes to see each other as more than just co-workers. They begin to understand each other's journeys, their unique challenges, and the qualities that make each person valuable. This newfound respect creates a sense of unity that had been missing before, a sense that they're all part of something bigger than themselves. The founder, too, continues to play an active role in this transformation. He frequently visits the office, sometimes in his usual business attire, other times in casual clothes, blending in with his employees. He wants them to understand that leadership isn't about wearing a suit or sitting behind a desk. It's about embodying the values of the company, setting an example, and treating everyone with equal respect. This experience becomes a turning point for the company, a story that employees share with new hires, a reminder of the lesson they all learned that day. It serves as a powerful reminder that respect should not be conditional, that true integrity is shown through consistent, everyday actions. The founder's unannounced visit in humble clothes becomes a legend within the company, a story that reminds everyone of the values they stand for. The company thrives in a new way, not just financially, but culturally, with a foundation rooted in mutual respect, empathy, and authenticity. Employees feel a renewed sense of pride in their work, knowing they're part of a place that values people for who they are, not just how they look. And in the end, the founder's lesson leaves a lasting legacy, one that transforms the company from the inside out. The founder's experience in his own company has led him to a powerful realization, one that he feels compelled to share openly with his team. He understands that true respect can't be demanded, it must be cultivated, woven into the very fabric of the company's culture. So, in a heartfelt message to his employees, he speaks about the importance of respect, equality, and the responsibility each of them holds in shaping a workplace that reflects these values. Standing before his staff, the founder doesn't deliver a speech of blame or anger. Instead, he speaks with sincerity, hoping to inspire change from within. He begins by sharing a bit of his own story, his journey from humble beginnings, his struggles, and the hard work it took to build the company they all work for. He tells them about the early days when he worked long hours, often sacrificing comfort and luxury, and how those experiences taught him to value people for their character, their dedication, and their kindness, not for their outward appearances. The employees listen, captivated by the personal side of their founder's story, a side they hadn't known before. He explains that the choice to dress simply that day wasn't random, it was intentional. He wanted to see the heart of his company, to witness firsthand the culture they had collectively built. He wanted to know if they were living up to the values he believed in, values he had always hoped would be the foundation of his company. Respect isn't something we give just to those who seem important, he says, his voice calm but firm. It's something we extend to everyone because everyone is important. It doesn't matter what someone wears, what their title is, or where they come from. True respect is shown in how we treat the people around us every single day. As he continues, he addresses the subtle but harmful ways in which judgments can creep into a workplace. He talks about the dangers of valuing appearances over character and how easy it is to fall into the trap of treating people differently based on superficial assumptions. When we judge others by how they look, we miss out on seeing who they really are, he explains. We overlook their potential, their unique qualities, and the strengths they bring to our team. His message isn't just about avoiding judgment, it's about actively choosing empathy. He encourages his employees to approach each interaction with an open mind, to treat everyone they meet with genuine respect. He asks them to imagine themselves in the other person's shoes, to consider how they would feel if they were treated dismissively, and to remember that everyone deserves dignity, no matter their role or appearance. The founder also emphasizes the importance of building a culture that reflects these values consistently, not just in moments of reflection, but in the day-to-day interactions that define their workplace. He challenges his team to think about how they can contribute to this culture, how they can be leaders in kindness, humility, and inclusivity, even in small ways. Each of us has the power to set the tone, he says. Respect starts with you, with each choice you make, with each person you encounter. His words resonate deeply, leaving a lasting impact on his employees. They realize that this isn't just about following company policies or meeting performance goals. It's about building something meaningful, a workplace where everyone feels valued and respected. They understand that the founder's lesson isn't just a message for today. It's a call to action, a standard they should all strive to uphold. By the end of his speech, there's a renewed sense of purpose in the room. The employees see their founder not just as a leader, but as a person who truly cares about the values they represent. His message has reminded them that success is more than profits or titles. It's about the kind of people they choose to be and the environment they choose to create. This moment becomes a defining point in the company's story, a commitment to a culture of respect and equality that will guide them forward long after the founder's words have faded. As we close this story, it's clear that this experience isn't just about one man or one day. It's a powerful lesson for all of us. The founder's decision to walk into his own company, dressed in simple, worn clothes, revealed more than he ever could have anticipated. It showed him the hidden attitudes within his team, the assumptions that went unquestioned, and the subtle ways in which judgment had seeped into the culture of his workplace. Through his journey that day, the founder reminded his employees, and all of us, by extension, of the true meaning of respect. Respect isn't about titles, wealth, or appearances. It's about valuing people for their character, their actions, and their contributions. It's about treating everyone with dignity, regardless of what they look like or where they come from. The reactions of his staff, from initial dismissal to regret and eventually to reflection, show a transformation that many workplaces could learn from. It's easy to get caught up in appearances, to judge people by superficial standards, but this story reminds us that true leadership and integrity run much deeper than that. The founder's calm, quiet way of handling the situation left a lasting mark on his team, showing them that respect is something that must be earned every day, in every interaction. For the employees, this experience was humbling. They were forced to confront their own biases, to see how quickly they could jump to conclusions without even knowing who someone truly was. And in facing this reality, they came to understand the importance of looking beyond appearances, of seeing the human being in front of them instead of simply making assumptions based on outward impressions. This story also highlights a key aspect of company culture. It's built not just by policies or words, but by actions. The founder's choice to step into his own company as an ordinary person sent a powerful message that values like respect, kindness, and equality are not just ideals to be talked about. They're principles to be lived by each day. A true culture of respect doesn't judge or exclude. It embraces everyone, treating each individual with the same level of dignity. As the founder walked away that day, he left his team with more than just a lesson. He left them with a legacy, a commitment to values that will shape the future of their company. His employees understood that they were being given a second chance, an opportunity to build something meaningful, something that aligns with the ideals their founder had from the very beginning. And they knew that from that moment on, they would have to work to live up to those values, to become the kind of people who see and respect the value in everyone. In the end, this isn't just a story about a founder and his employees. It's a story about all of us. It's a reminder that we each have the power to shape the world around us by how we treat others, by the respect we choose to show, and by the kindness we bring to every interaction. We may not always realize it, but our actions, no matter how small, contribute to the culture we create in our workplaces, in our communities, and in our lives. So, let this story stay with you. Let it remind you to pause, to look a little deeper, and to approach each person with a spirit of respect and humility. Because in the end, it's not the clothes we wear, the positions we hold, or the images we project that truly matter. It's the compassion, the respect, and the integrity that define who we really are.